Kohalo Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Ruel. I'm not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. This is simply going to be called Change Your Mind. And it's definitely for some of us who are newer, I guess 10 years plus, I'd say. Because there are still things that we all need to learn, especially those of us under 5 years. There are definitely things we need to learn, definitely mindsets that need, tweaking or hashing out. Okay, and the more you spend time in the Word, and the more you spend time trying to operate in the Spirit, you will see that you're able to keep certain things in check. You're able to keep your emotions in check a lot better. You are able to keep your thoughts in check a lot better. And most importantly, you put on Yahweh Shai, right? You, or whom the world ignorantly refers to as Jesus. As he came as a man, led by example, and then ascended up to the right hand of the Father. He gave us a way. He trailblazed a path, and we're going to walk in it. Okay, so we'll get a couple of precepts here. It's not very many. Each one is about, I got 3 chapters. Each one is about 10 to 12 verses. We're going to read through it, and really that'll just be it. But it's about putting off that old man, right? Circumcising, the circumcision of the heart. Heart and mind are one in these scriptures. And basically, in an Eastern culture, your heart and your mind is one. That is why the scriptures will tell you, whatever a man thinketh, that so is he, roughly paraphrase. So this title, this header here in Ephesians 4 and 17 reads the Christian's walk. We understand that Christian was a derogatory term. The actual, I guess, the more accurate way of categorizing the followers. 1, you have to be an Israelite by blood. Okay. 2 is Hamashiachim, or the followers of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Okay, or Messiah, Hamashiach meaning Savior, his title, or Christ, what they call. Ephesians 4, starting at 17. Actually, we'll read it. I think we'll read it here in the NLT, and then we'll read it here in the KJV, because there's some things I got in the Blue Letter Bible that I want to pull up here in the tools section. And then we'll go back and read them in the NLT. All right, so we'll get started here. This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their minds, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Yahweh through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given them over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Hamashiach. If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahweh Shai, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. Okay, and the point here is in 23. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Actually, 24 as well. And that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness. So we'll get this here in the NLT. And we'll skim over it. 17 through 23. All right, living as children of light. Okay, remember in the last video I did, or maybe the one before that, okay, I was saying how, the earthly enemy here, all right, the physical representation of the spiritual demon Satan, Esau, Edom, they are the children of darkness, right? Their light is darkness, and the only true light is the light in these scriptures. Okay, so here we go with this. With the Lord's authority, I say this: live no longer as the Gentiles do, right? And we understand that we were in a Gentile state of mind at one point, okay? Acting on lusts, serving our bellies, right? Whatever you wanted to do, you did. Whatever you wanted to eat, you ate, with no thought of honoring um, righteousness, or no thought of biblical living. Okay, no thought of a mindset that is geared towards righteousness, because we had no idea. Most of us didn't. Okay, and that is the subject here as we go into, as the Gentiles do, as Paul, I believe it's Paul, is saying. Don't quote me on that. Uh, because before they heard the truth, okay, our people, they were, they were so-called Greeks, they were so-called Romans, they were so-called whoever they were growing up around the heathen. And they learned those ways, and they thought that that's good. Let me slow down. They thought that that was who they were. Okay, but you come into understanding, and you come into a standard, and as you learn, you grow, and you have a responsibility to uphold said standard. Okay, and that is the problem with 2/3 of our people, is that they don't want that responsibility. They don't want to have to think before they act. They don't want to have to consider, the mind of Yahweh Shai, and how they should act. Verse 18: the minds are full of their minds are full of darkness. They wander far from the life of God, living or life God gives, because they have closed their minds and hardened their hearts against Him. They have no sense of shame, and boy, all you got to do is log on to the internet and any given social media app, and you will see there is no sense of shame. They live for lustful pleasures, eagerly practicing every kind of impurity. But that isn't what you learned about Hamashiach Yahushai. Since you have heard about Yahushai and have learned the truth that comes from him, throw off old sinful nature and your former way of life, which is corrupted by the lust and deception. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and attitude. And that should be your prayer. Whatever you struggle with, let the Spirit renew your thought, and let the Spirit renew your attitude. You have to walk according to knowledge and understanding. And as I said in the previous video, that knowledge you apply to your life. And you add these ingredients, and out comes wisdom, like you're churning butter. All right, knowledge is the starting ingredient, and you put the little churning tool, and you keep on going until it turns into that sweet cream butter that we all know and love. All right, so that's what if you want to think about it in a physical way. All right, you're churning butter, you're adding your ingredients, and you're grinding away, and boom, out comes your wisdom. Your finished product is wisdom. Look up a video on how to churn butter. Churn butter. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Is Colossians 3:10. I will read 1 through 10, and if you go, I think, in this one, the Christians love to abuse. And if you go a little further, I think verse 13 talks about it being neither Greek nor Jew, which falls in line, because they were talking to those Gentiles, or that wild olive branch, right? The no people who were scattered. So let's go here, Colossians 3:10. And we'll do 3. We'll just do 3. And this is all important, man. Your mind must be solid. Your mind must be thinking on future things, thinking on future glories, thinking on future rulership. What you ever heard the phrase, dress for the job you want? Well, in the spirit, that is what you're doing. You are putting on the elect. What would a king and a priest do in this situation? And you operate that way, and you grow, and you learn. And all the past mistakes you reflect on, not so much as to beat yourself up, but you reflect and you meditate on how far you've come. Okay, and it's not a foolish pride thing, but it's an opportunity to give grace to the Lord, to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because He gave you the spirit to learn and grow and do better and be better. And all of these things you will need to tackle what is coming. There is trouble coming. There is issues. There's trouble. There is tribulation on the way. And anybody telling you that there's not is a false prophet. They are setting you up for the okie doke. There is turmoil on the way because the kingdom is being translated from one people to another. And as crazy as it sounds, these higher ups, these elites, they understand the spiritual implications of what is going on. So don't let the incredulity of the lowly people that are around you sway you. So let's go ahead and read here. I'm going to start at 2. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach Yahushua, dead to the world. When Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye appear also with him in glory. Why? Because you're putting on the mind, you're putting on the thought, you are walking the same path. The servant is not greater than the master. He went through trouble, we will see trouble. Well, he went through way more trouble than what we're going to see. He blazed that path. He crawled so we can walk. Literally, quite literally. Not only crawled, but he bared a cross. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. You can look those up individually on your own. For which things' sake the wrath of Yahweh cometh on the children of disobedience, in which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them, right? So you would, changing of the mind, circumcising of the heart, right? Being made whole in Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not to one another, okay, being brotherly. All right, charity cover a multitude of sins, as the scriptures say. What did I say? Verse 10, okay, I think the point is in 10, I believe. And have put on, yeah, it is, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. Okay, and this is the Christian's favorite go-to that they love to misuse, and FUBAR, okay, FUBAR being an acronym for fuck up beyond all reason. They misuse this every, maybe not so much, but in times past, this was their go-to for the justification of the heathen being saved. Okay, but why would it only mention Greek? Because of the context of who the scattered children of Israel were and where they came out of. And you can only find that in the Apocrypha. Lastly, we'll go to Psalms 51 and 10. And this is also something that you can add in as a prayer. And if you really, really want to jump deep into it, translate it and try to read it in the Hebrew. Translate it to the Paleo Hebrew and read it that way. But luckily, or should I say fortunately, not luckily, there's no luck or happenstance. Fortunately, you have the benefit of having the Holy Spirit, which utters groanings, things that you can't say, right? But, you sigh and cry, and the Spirit does the rest for you, sending up those prayers unto the Lord. So call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Psalms 51, starting at the top here. I'm going to skip the first sentence. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions. Boy, do we need our transgressions blotted out. The last thing we want is to be found guilty in the near future, where the Lord will give 2/3 of our people and the rest of these folks here over to their lusts, or have their greatest fear brought upon them, or give them over to teeth of wild beasts. And one of those wild beasts being an Edomite, and others being physical four-legged beasts. You never know, or to famine, or to sword, or to torture. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression. That is an important part of the healing process, to acknowledge your transgression, right? And my sin is ever before me. Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity and in sin. did my mother conceive me, as we all have been and are. Most of our mothers have been with multiple men, and we've come out of polluted wombs. It's not insulting, it's just facts. From a ceremonial, unclean standpoint, right? And then they forward the vibration of this world. And they put that on you, and that's something that, you got to change your mind from as you grow in this truth and in spirit. Verse 6, behold, thou desirest truth in inward parts, and the hidden parts thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop. Okay, hyssop is a way that you clean, you cleanse. Look that up. And I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. White being a similitude for clean and pure. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. And you know he meant it because he said it twice in one chapter. The point here is in verse 10. Create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me. Okay, and lastly, we'll just go back to verse 8. I want to see about this bones here. Itazam. Let's see, body, limb, members, external. Okay. Okay, so being broken, right? Broken in a contrite heart, right? Okay, yeah. Like cattle. I don't know if any of you have dealt with horses, but to break a horse, not all horses are nice. Animals have personality, just as, with the sheep of the flock. Sheep are docile, but they're, you have some that can be, they can be assholes, and they have to be broken. You have to train them and show them manners. And in our sense, as we are like unto cattle or unto sheep, okay, we have to be broken and taught manners, and those manners are the law, statutes, and commandments. The way you should think, the way you should operate, especially here and now behind enemy lines. We have to be broken, okay, broken in contrite spirit. So I pray that you were edified. I think the point was made, and okay, yeah. Hold on now. What is broken? Maybe we gonna get everything. We want to be crushed, contrite. Yep. See, so yeah, exactly. All right. Boom. Humility, basically. So okay, yeah, that falls in line exactly with what we were talking about here. Call hello, how about you outside? So yeah, the point definitely has been made here. I pray that you were edified, and I truly pray that this was something that you can take in and you can learn and grow on your own. So with that being said.